Today, Rob Riggle will be here live for the new movie Nature Calls, which I guess is about peeing, right?
Absolutely. And we'll teach you how to homebrew beer with the Naked Brewer.
Whoa.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I like beer.
We had a fun night last night, speaking of beer.
We had a really fun night last night.
We went out because it's his second week here, and
Yep.
he's been wanting to go out. We didn't really want to, but we did it for you,
That
me
was
and
nice.
Sarah.
It was nice. Sarah and Candace took me out. We had dinner. It was really chill.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Very
I
easygoing.
think we have a photo. That's us.
Yeah, there's a photo.
I mean, luckiest guy in L.A. with those two ladies.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
You are.
We had a couple drinks.
drinks.
We're being a little more touchy-feely now because we hung out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was
Car
Irish
bomb.
car bomb. Yeah.
What would you do, fellas? You're with Candace and Sarah. What are you going to do? Feed them drinks. Feed them drinks. Keep drinking, ladies. Keep
Then,
drinking,
Sarah, what
ladies.
did we do?
I think we just kept drinking.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what happened.
Keep feeding them drinks. Feeding them drinks. Things are going to get nuts. And you guys get a little touchy when you drink.
What are you talking about?
You guys get look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you feed them drinks.
How did that get in
You
there?
guys, that is not what it looks like. We were talking. I was telling her a secret. It was a secret.
Whispering. We didn't want Michael to hear, okay?
I just kept silently feeding him drinks. That's what I kept doing. And look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know how that happened.
Aggressive kissers.
We are very aggressive
They almost ate my face off. It was hard, and I was like, "Ladies, back off, back off." And
then we were ready to go home, but Michael wanted to keep the party going,
no,
so
that's not. What
he
time
took his shirt off. Apparently, that's how Michael keeps the party going. He takes his shirt off on a busy street.
I thought it was a competition, and you guys were going to play too.
Oh yeah. It was fun. It was a good night.
I don't know how that photo ended up on television, but it was fun. You guys were a lot of fun. Thank you for
You were
taking
a lot of
me
fun
out.
too. We should do it again.
Okay, let's do it.
Time now to run down the top things on the web.
We're going around the net. ATN. Yeah. So, Candace, what you got on ATN?
Well, Michael, here's a video of some kids playing a game called Ass Up. Now, I'm not actually sure how the game is played, but I'm pretty sure that there's one kid here that's doing it wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Grindel.
That laugh. Can we have Nurse Jaw Doctor come down to the gym, please? I feel like saying to the kid, "Hey, kid, if the object of the game was to get hurt and cry like a little bitch, then you're a real winner."
Now, as adults, we know to just bend over and let things happen. He just learned a very valuable lesson. What?
It's like being the host of the show. What's next, Candace? What's next?
Michael? Well, for years, a man has filmed the great outdoors, hoping for signs of mysterious creatures like Bigfoot. So watch this clip from the wilderness of Finland very carefully, and you might see something unexpected.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty sweet. I think it'd be more exciting, though, if I hadn't just seen a guy jump from space this week.
Yeah, that doesn't even compare to a jump from space.
It's definitely a lot different. You picked the wrong week to post that, I think.
And finally, it's a soulful musical tribute to the late, great Battlestar Galactica. Seems the Simon and Garfunkel classic Sound of Silence syncs up perfectly with the robot-filled sci-fi masterpiece. And Internet, you should be embarrassed by how long it took for this joke to happen.
This is called The Sounds of Silence.
Hello, Gaius, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while you were sleeping, and the vision that I planted in your brain still remains. It is the sound of silence.
You know, they're spelling silence wrong. Do you know that?
Cylons.
Cylons?
You know, the evil robots that have sex and their back lights up. You know, right?
I did not know that. But
Yeah!
thought it
Battlestar Galactica.
I did not know that, but I am looking forward to Simon and Garfunkel's next tune, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Time Bandits. Now, see, the nerds in the writer's room said that would be hilarious, and yet no one laughed.
Of course they did.
No one laughed at that.
Arrivederci.
Yes, arrivederci, meet the balls.
Arrivederci, meet the balls around the nets. That makes it.
Still ahead. They love accents here. Still ahead, Hobbit coins in New Zealand.
Science weighs in on whether Jurassic Park could happen in real life. Arrivederci. Come on.
Thanks, everybody. Here's what's up with the world. Now, usually, for a country to put someone's face onto its national currency, that person has had to have done something pretty spectacular. The $100 bill, for instance, immortalizes Benjamin Franklin, who harnessed the power of lightning with just a kite and a key. India chose Gandhi, who led his country to independence through the practice of nonviolent protest. And to the British pound, and the British pound has Helen Mirren. Probably because she kicked ass in National Treasure Book of Secrets. But Australia's little buddy, New Zealand, is changing the game. Let's face it, when you're a teeny tiny island nation, you have to do whatever you can to stick out. Am I right, Japan? What is that? What is that? And that's why the New Zealand Post is going rogue in minting usable coins with characters from the highly anticipated Hobbit trilogy. These coins, which are inscribed in both English and Ancient Nerd, will be stamped with the images of Bilbo Baggins, Gandalf the Grey, and Steve Buscemi. Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, sure, sorry. Gollum. Whatever, Steve, I don't understand what your problem is. Being on money is an honor. Just ask Sir Ian McKellen. When asked how he felt about the coins bearing his image, he said, "To put Gandalf on these splendiferous coins is a wizard idea." What? That's a good impression. And based on his choice of words, I'm guessing he's either extremely delighted or slowly transforming into the mascot on a cereal box. Gee whiz. Now, these coins are just a result of the sensation caused by Peter Jackson's Hobbit movies, which have also been a huge boon to New Zealand's tourist industry. So, if you feel like taking a trip to the other side of the world, make sure to keep checking for deals online, as I'm doing right here on my iPad. Let's see here. LAX to Christchurch. Oh, my gosh. So that's 2 Gandalfs and 10 Bilbos. That seems a little steep to me. I think I'm going to wait until the off-season. I'm guessing by then they'll be discounted at least to 5 or 6 Buscemis. Okay. Moving on. Now, if you were alive when the film Jurassic Park came out, then you probably grew up with the dream that someday, somehow, Steven Spielberg would make us real dinosaurs. Preferably the adorable plant eaters who would be our best friends and let us ride on their backs during wacky adventures like that one. You know, not like the bitey dinosaurs. I don't like those. Well, guess what? Screw your dreams, okay? Because the Royal Society has released research saying the half-life of DNA is 521 years. Now, since dinosaur DNA is either millions of years old or, if you ask creationists, a funny trick God played on us, your dream of a pet triceratops named Eugene is as dead as, well, you know. But it's okay, we still have the movies! Yay! Concept art for the long-awaited Jurassic Park 4 recently surfaced online, revealing that the movie's plot revolves around a half-dinosaur, half-human A-team who shoots guns and fights crime, otherwise known as the most amazing thing ever. Look at this! Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? Wait. This concept dates back to 2004 and has been abandoned by the film's producers. It'll never be filmed. The only way I'll ever see a half-human, half-dinosaur movie is if I go see The Expendables. Everything is the worst. That story made me sad. And what do we do when we're depressed? We turn to alcohol, kids. Hooray! Have you ever been drinking beer and eating bull testicles and thought to yourself, you know, this is so much work. I wish I could just combine both of these amazing flavors. Well, you're in luck, since they haven't found a way to make beer-flavored bull testicles yet. The boys at Wynkoop Brewery in Colorado have created the next best thing. Bull testicle-flavored beer! Yeah! Those are kids cheering. This is good news. And I was waiting for that earlier, but I was wrong. This is good news for everyone, except, of course, the bull. But I heard bull eunuchs live longer anyway. Now, I know what you're thinking. Bull testicle beer? This has got to be a joke, right? Well, it started out that way, but Wynkoop now actually created the beer after the response to an April Fool's joke proved overwhelmingly positive. And if you're one of those people who saw the video and wanted to try it, I hate you, and you probably work at Best Buy. But not to worry. If beer made with a bull's balls grosses you out, maybe you should try a new beer made from a human beard. No? Oh, that grosses you out as well? Yeah. Okay, well, hear me out. Look. Rogue Ales Brewery in Oregon searched the beard of its company's president and discovered yeast, which they then used to brew some beer. Now, keep in mind, this is a beer that hasn't been shaved since 1978, so they probably found some pretty gross stuff in there, like Village People records or reruns of The Love Boat. Ugh. I'm sorry, but there's nothing appealing about beard beer to me, okay? Call me when you guys come up with something exciting, like Sideburn Scotch, or Goatee Gimlets, Soul Patch Sangria, or Mustache Margaritas. Oh, my God, look what we have here. This is one of my favorites, a Virgin Bloody Harry, which, of course, I don't drink unless it's made with real blood. It's disgusting. I said real blood, Zilch's arm. That's disgusting. Still ahead, forget about Boardwalk Empire. Our next guest will teach you how to bootleg in your bathroom. Lady Brewer's coming up. Zilch's arm is a stupid idiot. The economy is in the toilet, so why not brew your own beer in the bathtub? Excuse me. Please welcome the authors of The Naked Brewer and the bloggers at thebeerchicks.com, Hallie Bone and Christina Perazzi. I literally started choking up in the introduction because sitting next to me is beer. I mean, this is by far my favorite guest.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
We have it no other way. You guys, we're talking about beer with bull testicles. I don't know if you saw the monologue.
Yeah, we did see that. Yeah.
What? I mean,
oh my gosh.
What can you put in? You can put whatever you want in beer? Is that the case?
Well, you can put things in beer that you shouldn't necessarily. I mean, we've heard of some things. Like somebody, you know, the beard yeast you were talking about.
You've heard of that?
Yeah, there's other yeast.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
Say more. I did not make it. I did not drink it. I do not endorse it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it has happened.
So women have used their yeast to make beer.
We don't encourage that.
No.
And if you do, don't put it on the bottle. You know.
Yeah.
Do not
leave it off the label.
I promise you that's being Googled by a lot of people right now. Have you made beer with weird stuff in it, though? Not your own yeast? We're not going to go there. But...
Well, we did make a beer, and an ant fell into the beer. Yeah.
Okay.
And we let it live. We let it run around in the beer a little bit. Well, we couldn't find it.
Right.
we called it One Ant's Beer, and it was delicious. It was delicious. It was great.
Fantastic.
So you can put a bug in beer.
What's in front of me right now?
Beer.
Beer. Well, thank you very much. But I assume that there's a special kind of beer of some kind. Is this One Ant beer?
We brewed this beer.
This is so cool.
Yeah. At Elysian in Seattle. It's actually a recipe in our book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honey Chamomile Blonde and The Naked Brewer. We brewed this at Elysian in collaboration with New Belgium, and it's delicious.
God. Can we do a cheers?
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. I love you guys. I've just met you. Thank you for
We
the
love
alcohol.
you. We've just met you.
This is not how it works typically. Women bring men alcohol. This is perfect. I love this.
We do it.
I went out with Candace and Sarah last night, and guess who paid for that alcohol?
We saw that. Yeah, we saw those photos.
We think we could hang with you guys.
We
actually.
could.
Throw in some karaoke and we can make it
We're
happen.
there.
Dance party. I have always wanted to brew my own beer. It intimidates me. Should I be intimidated? Can I actually do it? I can barely draw a circle and connect it together. Can I brew beer?
If you know how to turn on your stove, you can brew beer. I mean, it's
For
real.
real?
It's easy. It's not super easy, but it's cooking. We say it's cooking and and waiting.
Yeah. Do you cook?
I can cook.
Okay.
I make a nice brown rice. I throw some veggies in there. You know what I mean?
All right.
Is that
Really?
good? Yeah.
We kind of know what you mean, but I'm sure it's fantastic.
How long does it take to brew beer?
Okay, so it's going to take like
It's gonna get
7.
trashed on this show.
Yeah. It's going to take 7 to 10 days to ferment. And then you need to put it in a bottle. You want it to have it fizzy and all that stuff. It's going to take a couple more weeks. So, about 3 weeks to a month. But that's why you need a lot of beer to drink while you brew.
While you're
that's
brewing.
the essential part.
Yeah.
Any old bottle, I find?
No, so here's the big thing. So
Okay.
you've heard of skunkiness in beer?
Yeah.
Skunkiness doesn't happen from oxidation. It doesn't happen from age. It happens when light hits the beer.
I
so
thought
the
it was
problem.
when a skunk fell into the...
That too.
when they,
Then the very rare occasion that
That could be
happens,
a
that can cause skunkiness in beer. But so dark bottles.
Yes.
Make sure to ferment your beer in darkness and use dark brown bottles, not green.
Yep.
So there are some beers in green bottles that aren't so great.
There's
clear bottles.
And there's beers
We're
that I've
not
had
gonna
both
name
of
names?
those.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have to
A
name
lot,
names.
probably.
No.
Heineken. Golden Rock.
I didn't say it.
I said it. I
I'm
said
glad
it.
you said
Brave.
it. Okay.
I have a small one-bedroom apartment.
Yep.
It's carpeted.
Are you inviting us over?
Parking. Yes.
I didn't felt like a pitch.
From here, we will, yes. It does have a pool, not that I'm like name dropping or anything, but twin bed. Do I need space to brew? Do I need a ton of space? Okay.
You need to be able to use some sort of. You need to cook. If you can cook, you can brew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why we actually did smaller batches in our book, because we were women alone. You can't lift 5 gallons.
Yeah, it's always these big things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just want to be able to brew by ourselves, in our solitude, and be able to lift it and do it ourselves. So we brew
pump some music.
Yeah, what
just
kind
like
of,
get into it.
What kind of music is beer brewing music?
Well, it depends on the beer.
Oh, okay.
I say Metallica.
Okay.
I don't know about
But you can't make like.
She thinks I listen to circusy music. I would say it's just indie music. So maybe something with crazy ingredients. Maybe like the IPA, which is like the bitter, like American-style beer. That could be Metallica.
Yeah.
I could feel that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you really, we're brewing 2.5 gallons. So a lot of people brew 5 gallons. Some people brew 1. We feel like that's like the sweet spot. But moving 5 gallons of beer for a woman alone is a lot. So 2.5 gallons, perfect.
Actually, for a lot of men alone, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty
Especially
sure.
you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could not do that. But I like these. I like beer drinking ladies because they talk smack. You know what I'm saying? How much does it cost? How much does it cost to brew 2.5 gallons worth of beer?
So you have to get your equipment first.
Yep.
So we have a website, the beerchicksbrewshop.com. You can get the equipment.
Yep.
Plug it. So, it's like maybe $100 to get the equipment, but then you're done. Then you have that for the rest of your life.
That's your
and then you
initial
just get the
investment.
recipe. And the recipe can be about like $30. So you're going to make a couple, going to make like 24 bottles of beer, which is a lot. So really, it's very, very economical in these times.
Yeah,
as
like
opposed to buying
$1 a beer.
Yeah, dollar
okay,
beer.
dollar beer. It's got to be fun to. I mean, you're drinking your creation, right? Have your
That's the
friends
biggest
over and to
thing.
give it away as a gift. They must love that.
Yeah, it's bragging rights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's being able to say, I made this.
It's like
beer.
punishing your child. It's like I created you. I can hurt you. And I created you, and I'm consuming you now.
Right.
Yeah, I guess.
And also, like, the beer you make at home is way better than, like, some of the crappy beer that you drink places.
bet.
I'm not going to name names.
You can just name names. No one's watching.
No, you can name names.
We're frightened.
We're frightened to come after us with a hacksaw. But, it's excellent beer, so.
Okay, and nowadays there's an online community where we can ask questions. I know you guys have your website.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a.
Yeah, you no longer have to have a beard or wear black horn-rimmed glasses to brew beer. There's
You
a
can.
big community now.
You can have a mustache. You can do all that stuff. But there's a lot more women in the community, which is great.
Yay.
We love
Cheers.
that.
Cheers. I think so. We'll unfortunately have to say goodbye on. So let's say thanks to Christina and Haley. Get their new book, The Naked Brewer, for everything you need to start home brewing yourself. Now here's Jessica Chobot with some undead news from New York's Comic-Con. Cheers.
much how New York Comic-Con plays out in my head. Violent, isn't it? If you think that's bad, then check out all the horror flicks here at the con. Kill him! One of the horror movies making its rounds around the con is Stephen King's Carrie, and it's kind of like X-Men.
What?
Come on, she's got telekinetic powers. She up.
No.
You know I'm right! Are you guys taking the storyline more from the movie that was out previously or more from the book, Stephen King's book?
Completely from the book. Yeah, we both love Stephen King. We love the novel, and for me in particular, it was just such an incredibly rich source of character and story.
Now, the iconic imagery of Carrie is obviously her in the prom dress, covered in pig's blood.
It's freezing and sticky and wet, and it was cold. And I'd do the scene, and then I'd run to the car, and then I'd do the scene, and I'd run back into the car.
If you look close, we did a couple of blood dumps, and one of them, you know, it goes, the head's an umbrella, so the blood will go like that, realistically. You're smiling. As it's crazy. You'll see this umbrella of blood, and you see her face under there. She's like this.
One of the favorites here at the con is Beautiful Creatures, the story of a small-town boy who falls in love with a beautiful girl, and just because she's a witch, the whole town goes crazy pants over it.
She's a witch!
Novel, what key points of it really popped out to you, and how do you decide what to pick and what not to pick for your movies?
Well, it took a lot of drafts. This was a tough adaptation because the girls created such a great mythology. I love the core idea of this girl. She is a caster, and when she's 16, her powers are going to be claimed for the light or for the dark.
If she goes dark, will you shut her out too?
They're people, they're not immortals, but they have special powers, and each one has a different power. So some of them can control the elements like the wind and nature, and some of them control time, and they all have these different powers.
So what exactly is a caster then?
It's a nicer way of saying a witch. Geeks don't want to be called geeks, they want to be called...
Smart people?
I don't know, I love a geek.
I'm not afraid of you or your evil kind.
Reading is fundamental. Reading the Book of the Dead is fundamentally stupid. And Bruce Campbell is out to prove that people still do dumb with the remake of The Evil Dead. So after so many years and so many horror movies, what is it that causes people to still go into abandoned cabins in the middle of the woods that are obviously very dangerous?
We're naturally curious creatures, us humans, and we want to find out what's in these dark cabins, and we want to find out what's in these strange books.
That's a lot nicer than what I was just thinking. They're stupid. I know you've obviously been on G4 quite a bit, Attack of the Show, and you got to sign our host Candace Bailey's breast. I'm not asking for that.
Yeah.
But will you sign my unborn child belly?
I will sign your child belly.
Yes. Ooh, that's tickling me. This story is for you, my evil child. Well, that was some pretty scary movies. Who knew that New York Comic-Con could be the center of all things evil? Well, these guys probably knew.
Thanks, Jessica. Right now, it's time to start the feed.
All the news you need to know.
It's Thursday, October 18th, and here are your top stories. First up, Twitter made history this morning when it blocked messages across an entire country for the first time ever. The blocked account belongs to a neo-Nazi group inside Germany. Twitter said German police faxed a request that they close the account immediately, and Twitter responded by blocking all access to the controversial account, but only in Germany, where the use of Nazi symbols and slogans is illegal. Other countries can still see it. This is part of a policy from last January that allows Twitter to block tweets and users on a country-by-country basis. They say this is an attempt to be conscious that the United States definition of free speech isn't necessarily the same around the world. Next up, Newsweek magazine is making headlines of its own. This morning, they announced plans to end all print versions. It's sad, I know, but true. The iconic magazine's 80-year run will officially end later this year when the final issue hits newsstands on December 31st. Newsweek says this is part of a push towards a new digital era, and apparently it was losing a lot of money over the past few years. Execs say the worldwide edition Newsweek Global will still be available on e-readers, and some stories will be featured online in the magazine's sister publication, The Daily Beast. But the days of holding a hot-off-the-press cover, they're over. Rest in peace, Prince. I know. It's been an eventful day in the entertainment world, though. First up, Marvel has given fans the power to unlock the new trailer for Iron Man 3. Here's the deal. The film's Facebook page has an image of Tony Stark's arc reactor with a loading bar beneath it. For every like the movie receives, the bar's charge increases. Once the arc reactor becomes fully charged, Marvel will debut the movie's first trailer, so go like it already. Yeah! Next, the latest Bond flick, Skyfall, will be coming to IMAX theaters a day early. Fans of the big screen will be able to see 007 in action starting on November 8th. Regular theaters won't get the film until the 9th, which, side note, is the 50th anniversary of the first Bond movie, Dr. No. Yeah, now you know. And finally, today is truly a day for celebration because the Nintendo Entertainment System just turned 27. Yeah. Arguably the most influential gaming platform ever released, the NES reignited a floundering video game market on October 18th, 1985. So happy birthday, little guy. I'm Sarah Underwood, and you've just been fed. Stay tuned. Nature Calls when comedian Rob Riggle joins us live.
Rob Riggle likes to watch people fight, and what's wrong with that?
Why don't you and I take a little walk outside together, huh?
Why don't we all go outside together on the camping trip that we all agreed to?
These kids are not going to give up skybox seats to go prancing through the woods with you.
We got skyboxes. You're treating them like a bunch of bankers at a country club.
The right we are.
I will treat my son how I want to treat him. But he's not going to go build fires and tie knots with you in the woods.
He's from Africa, brah.
Yeah, he's had enough of that.
Well, take a bow because you've set Dwande down the path of turn him into a bag like you.
Can we please not do this in front of the boys?
Men are talking.
Yeah! Please welcome Rob Riggle, you guys. So that movie is Nature Calls.
Yes.
And it takes place so much outdoors. Are you an outdoors kind of guy? Is that your thing?
No,
not
really.
Not at all.
No,
Okay.
I like my creature comforts.
Okay.
I like AC.
Yep.
I like sheets.
Sheets are nice.
Toilets.
Yeah. Okay.
That actually remove the poo.
Right.
As opposed to the nature where you dig your own hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then poo and then have to cover it up yourself. What is that?
I've always hated that.
Yeah.
But the thing I hate is that I usually, no matter where I am, I still look at it. Why am I looking at it?
We all do.
Why?
We all do.
I don't get that.
Just to make sure we didn't actually swallow that thing we thought we swallowed.
Right. So you don't, when you guys shot this, were you outdoors all the time? And you were still, you're in a decent hotel or something at least.
Well, we stayed in New York City, but then we shot like upstate a little ways,
Okay.
you know, so it was about an hour and a half up from the city. And so, you know, we'd get up early and drive up, and then we were outdoors all day, which was rugged. Guys, please, you know, you can imagine.
It's tough. It's tough.
You can imagine being outside all day?
Yeah, it's terrible.
What? What's that about?
Whenever I watch you, you're breaking something.
Thank you.
A lot of movies that you always break. I didn't see anything in that scene. Are you breaking stuff in Nature Calls?
Even if I wasn't, I was thinking about breaking
you wanted
something.
to break stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty much, like right now, I'm thinking about breaking
You're breaking
something.
stuff. It's not my neck, is it?
No, not really.
Okay. How do you, I mean, is there a way to break stuff on set and not hurt yourself? I mean, do you get injuries?
I've never done it without hurting myself.
You always do it yourself.
I'm sure there are smarter people than I.
Right.
No, I do. I enjoy. I think it's just something that's left over. It's part of my Arrested Development.
Okay,
I like to break things.
Now, you're a former Marine, or I guess you're always a Marine, right? But you
Always a Marine.
Former active Marine, or is that? Am I saying that
No,
wrong?
I'm still in the reserves, actually.
Okay. Well,
Still right now.
so now you do want to break me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually going to. But you've performed comedy all over the place as
Yucks!
well.
We got lots of yucks.
What's worse, combat or like performing in a strip club or something?
It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Have you performed in some dicey...
the worst places. Well, you know, you performed in New York City,
Sure.
you know, and
Yep.
stage time is stage time when you're starting out. And I remember, well, there's a couple things. Like, I remember once doing a show down in Alphabet City.
Okay.
Somebody had told me, hey, there's this place. It's a club. It's not even a comedy club. It's just some club. And in the basement, they have a stage, and you can get 5 minutes.
Right.
I'm like, for real 5 minutes? They're like, for real, not 3, 5. So I was like, awesome. It's worth the $20 cab ride
Right.
or the 4 train connection I had to get there.
Right.
But I got there, went downstairs, 9 drunks,
Okay.
5 of which were comedians waiting for their turn to get on stage.
And are mad as hell at you.
Oh,
and
just
bitter.
pissed,
Yeah,
and you know, that's not funny.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I'm your friend. We know each other.
But if you've had any form of success,
Yeah.
they hate your guts.
Exactly. So I did a show there for 9 drunks at 1 a.m. and was lucky to get it.
And this was when you're doing stand-up.
Starting, yeah.
Starting, okay, because you have all this improv background, but you did spend some time doing stand-up and even had a special. What is there a preference of yours? And
they're apples and oranges, you know. I mean, I love improv because it's ensemble, it's group. You're making it up on the spot. There's no really thinking. There's just reacting.
Right.
And it exercises all your tools as a writer and a performer, and I love that.
Yep.
But I also love stand-up because it pays money.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
And improv doesn't pay anything. So, and stand-up is fun too because it's you, a microphone, and an audience. Good luck. And so it's really a skill set that you have to develop, and it's a lot of fun.
When you're on stage or in a scene, you take over, and I mean that as a compliment.
Thank
you. You're a destroyer.
Yeah.
Is there something in your brain when you're starting a scene or in a movie that you're like, just take this over? I mean, what is your philosophy in a scene when you're shooting or on stage?
I haven't thought about it like that. No, honestly, because you don't want to be.
Deep stuff over here, Rob.
You don't want to be. There's like rules in acting.
Sure.
You know, and you don't want to. You don't want to upstage your fellow performers if if it doesn't call for anything. You don't want to be grandstanding and doing things like, because that gets a bad reputation, and that's not at all what I want to do. But when they're doing my coverage or when it's time to do something, I will try something. Especially if the director says, "Hey, you got anything you want to try?" Right. Yes, I do. And I'm going to try it. And then if it works, great.
Maybe some of this comes from the fact that you're a huge Elvis fan.
Hey, I think we all know that. Am I right?
He's a big. Okay. What's your favorite Elvis era?
Well, 56 to 73, I think was what we're talking about here. It stopped for me after the Aloha special.
Okay.
Okay, that's when he was tan, he was cut, he was looking good.
Yep.
The jumpsuit, the cape, the burns, like he was top of his game. 74 on to his death, the last 3 years. Come on, gravy and chicken and
that was
fat
your jam?
and,
That was your jam?
Yeah.
You liked him like that? Do you sing Elvis at karaoke? Is that who you go for?
I karaoke jam it. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of it.
You shouldn't be.
I put it out there. Usually, it depends on what portion of the night, beginning, middle, or late.
Sure.
If it's late in the game, suspicious minds.
Okay.
That's what I usually close with. But if you're doing karaoke, you'd be a fool not to do Neil Diamond.
Sure. Okay.
You'd be a fool.
Okay.
And if it's early in the night, I like to start out with a little Cherry Cherry.
Okay.
And then I move on to Sweet Caroline. Yeah. That closes it down, right, guys? That
To
closes
see
it down.
Rob Riggle do karaoke would be wonderful, and in fact, I think we're going to take you to the Gas Lamp in Santa Monica Boulevard right now. Let's take him. Let's say thanks to Rob Riggle.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Nature Calls is now available on demand, and you can catch the movie in theaters November 9th. Time now for some Halloween horror apps.
With Halloween just around the corner, it's time to set the tone with these frighteningly good apps. If you consider yourself a fan of scary movies, then you need the House of Horrors app.
with a library of over 100 classic horror films, including work from big-name directors like Alfred Hitchcock and Roger Corman. Even the most seasoned cinephile will find something worth watching. Feel like a zombie movie? Then pull up George A. Romero's original Night of the Living Dead, or put on Nosferatu and watch one of the most frightening portrayals of Dracula ever filmed. The app is updated with new movies automatically and works with AirPlay so you can stream them directly to your Apple TV. Or if you own a Roku, it works with that too. Get access to the movies that defined a genre for only $1 and start watching on any Android, Apple, or Windows device. Nothing gets the horror juices flowing like mowing down hordes of the undead. Shoot, slice, and explode your way through the zombie masses in Apocalypse Max, better dead than undead. You play as Max, the lone survivor of Hellthroat Island, after it's overrun by a strain of mutant zombies. You begin with only a pistol and your trusty combat knife, which you can use to slice and dice your enemies, whether you're low on ammo or if you just feel like getting up close and personal. There are over 18 different weapons at your disposal, like the trusty shotgun or the freakishly powerful plasma rifle. Collect gold from slain enemies to purchase new guns and ammo, and to upgrade the weapons you've already bought. Available on all iOS devices, release your rage on the undead for only $3. And finally, it's a rivalry as old as time. Pizza, skeletons, they've never gotten along, and they never will. So you might as well side with deliciousness and destroy those old-boned monsters in Pizza vs. Skeletons. You control a 25-foot-tall pizza that smashes brittle-boned baddies across 110 levels, spanning land, sea, and outer space. Dozens of enemies are at your crushing disposal. You can smash the Great Pyramids or even crush giant brains. Earn money by defeating your enemies and use it to purchase new toppings and outfits, like a powdered wig. There are over 250,000 different combinations you can create. Enjoy one of the weirdest yet most addicting games to ever hit the app marketplace. Get it on your iDevice for $5 or pick it up for your Android for only $3. So there you go, 3 apps that'll help get you in the holiday spirit via the magical power of love. Did I say love? Oh, sorry. I meant horrific death and violence. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ah, ah. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Up next, we've got a surreal, psychedelic look at a mind-blowing artist. To have a psychedelic pop culture experience, you could take LSD and watch the E! Network. Or you could enjoy the artwork of this guy.
My name is Mark Dean Vecca, and I'm an artist.
Surreal, psychedelic, fantastic. Just a few of the words that describe Mark Dean Vecca's style. His grand-scale installations are a dreamlike mixture of painting, design, and space, with a healthy dash of pop culture thrown in for good measure. So how did this Louisiana-born artist get his start, and what goes into making his brilliant designs?
I remember doing some little drawings in class and the other kids looking at them and saying, wow, you're a good artist, you know. So it was like, it really made me feel good and made me want to keep doing it, and it was like, you know, that's sort of what made me special.
So he pursued his dream and received his BFA at the Otis Art Institute.
I went there to study illustration because I really didn't have any kind of idea what art was, what fine art was. I thought I would be a commercial artist, and it was there that I kind of discovered this whole world of art and museums and galleries, and decided to take that path instead.
It was there where he got his first taste of painting outside of the canvas.
I had a drawing class with an artist named Kent Twitchell, and he's a pretty famous muralist from LA, and you see his stuff all over town. And he was teaching a class and asked a bunch of us if we wanted to do a mural on the side of the freeway. And so he sort of showed us how that whole process works of taking an image and enlarging it and working with the colors and the values and the lights and shadows. And so that was a real education.
A few years after graduation, he made his way to New York, and he was commissioned to create a mural based on his series of drawings inspired by Popeye.
These sort of references to Popeye sort of started coming up and coming out, and eventually the hat and the arm came together to form sort of a new character for me, and it spoke to me in some way, and it seemed very mysterious. So I kind of ran with that for about 4 years and pretty exclusively worked with that kind of pop iconography.
These pop culture influences played heavily into his art style.
Growing up in the suburbs, once again, you know, I was sort of just surrounded by television, and this was in the 60s and 70s. That was a big influence on me. It was all around me. You know, I started reading comic books and really got into Mad Magazine and later on into underground comics. And that's sort of one of the ways I really learned to draw, was by copying from those sources.
But it was also an obscure 18th century French textile pattern called toile that helped shape his style.
The first time that I really discovered it was on my mother-in-law's bathroom wall. I just really always loved the way that it repeats in a very unusual way. You can't find the beginning or the end. The draftsmanship is really beautiful. You always find something new every time you look at it.
In 2000, he began to infuse the two. An appreciation for this amalgamation exploded. This led to his murals to growing beyond the wall, taking over the entire room and becoming full-fledged installations.
I love to go out and do these massive installations where, you know, I'll travel somewhere and work on a really large scale, and there's a certain amount of adrenaline involved with all of that, and there's a time limit. For the temporary installations, I use house paint because I know it's not going to be around. You know, it can be painted over, so that's fine. And then, you know, sometimes I'll spray, like I use an industrial kind of a airless sprayer now to cover a lot of the background, to kind of do an underpainting and trying to streamline the process and conserve my energy for the line work that comes at the end, which is really what they're all about. Making a few lines and creating space and volume that is kind of magical to me, and I seem to never get tired of that.
As for the future, Mark hopes to add a new dimension to his installations.
I think ultimately I would love to take the installations in a direction of incorporating sound into them. That's kind of like something I've never tried, and it seems like it makes sense to create an environment that incorporates sound.
While his installations have been featured everywhere from New York and LA to Guadalajara and London, he still finds time to give back to his pop culture roots.
I'm always psyched to get a call from a corporation like Nike or the Hundreds or Original Fake, but it's always great to get those calls because I do like to sort of take my work full circle. I take from popular culture, now I'm kind of putting back into popular culture by going back and doing designs that will be mass produced and seen by people and maybe inspire them in some way.
Thank you to all of our guests. We had Rob Riggle, Christina Perozzi,
Hallie Bone, Jessica Chobot, and Sarah
Underwood. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Michael Costa.
Leave your shirts on.
Please
Leave
don't
your
take
shirts.
Please don't take your shirts off. That is a That happens.
I can't not look at it. I can't not look at it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.